All right, so today we're doing a tier list of every single Soulsborne final boss. I got a lot of requests to do this, but I wasn't sure how many people would actually watch it since I don't know how many people have actually beaten every single Souls game. But starting off with King Allant and old King Allant, I like this fight a lot. I really like King Allant. I think it's a fun fight. It's definitely the best boss in Demon Souls. But to be fair, that's not saying a ton since I don't love the bosses in Demon Souls, but it's better than Flame Lurker. It's better than the Man-Eaters. It's better than them all. I don't know why Man-Eaters came to mind. Man-Eaters is definitely not the best boss in Demon Souls or even top 3, but I love the wind attacks. I love the flow of the combat with this fight. I think it's really unique. Is it the grand spectacle of a final boss that I would hope for in one of the later Souls games? No, but it's Demon Souls, you know? I think they did what they could and they did a damn good job. I'm feeling B here. I mean, Slug version, I don't... I mean, it's 2 hits and he's dead. Like, I can't really even consider this a fight. I understand why, you know, I get it. But, like, fight-wise, I can't even really discuss it. It doesn't make a difference. But I think B is a fair spot for this. This is a really good boss, though, overall. Okay, Gwyn. Now, as a final boss, I feel like I might put Gwyn ahead of it. But fight itself, I would put King Allant ahead. But I think I'll put Gwyn, like, as a final boss right here. I really love the option to parry. But the problem is the parrying makes it way too easy. But if you fight him normally, it's really fun, it's really challenging, and good luck getting a heal off. But obviously, this is like the epic conclusion of Dark Souls, so I'm tempted to put it in A, but I can't. I really, fight-wise, I'm not gonna put it any higher. I almost want to put King Allant ahead of Gwyn, but I can't just for, it's Gwyn. It's Gwyn. As a final boss in the spectacle of that fight, it beats Allant for sure. Okay, Manus, did they do the final boss? Okay, so they did like the final boss of the DLC too. That's kind of interesting. I feel like Manus deserves an A. I'd be tempted to put him in S, but like, I think it's kind of a perfect final boss for the DLC, but I don't love the fight enough to put it in S. Artorias, I would put in S, but obviously Artorias is not the final boss. Manus, I don't love the huge enemies as much. It's really hard to see what's going on. The attack combos go for days, which isn't a bad thing. It's just Dark Souls 1 is really slow, so it's really difficult. But I love this boss, and I think it was an awesome finish to Dark Souls 1. I feel like A is a really good spot for this. Okay, Nashandra, I think this is going in D. I was so disappointed when I didn't know who the final boss of Dark Souls 2 was when I first played it, and I was mad. Dark Souls 2 was like one of the most addicted I've ever been to a video game, and I loved every second of it, and finding out that this was the final boss, I was mad. But then, oh, wait, there's a flip. I'm gonna go straight to this. Aldia, F. This is even worse. Scholar of the First Sin, I thought would add something good. When I saw that there was another boss after, I was like, okay. I was like, I knew they wouldn't end it like that. I knew they wouldn't do me dirty like that. They did me dirty. Luckily, they made up for it in the DLC, but we'll get to that. Both of these bosses are garbage. I don't really have to say much. They're not good as normal bosses or final bosses. So moving on to Sin, why are there 3 different bosses? Oh, I guess for each DLC. Oh yeah, these are all, I totally forgot. I played Scholar of the First Sin, so I kind of forgot there are 3 DLCs in this game. I just think of it as one big DLC. Okay, so Sin, I think this is one of the most underrated dragons. It's not the best, obviously, but like for the time especially, and in Dark Souls 2 pulling it off the way they did, I was very impressed, especially in comparison to the mess of the other dragon fights there were in that game. I think I'd go B. Maybe I'd go here. I like Allant's fight more, but I think Sin is a better final boss for... Oh, that's tough. Sin felt more like a dramatic ending, and I like that. Because I do remember being pretty mind-blown when I first ran into Sin, so I'll go here. Maybe I'll move it. We'll see where the other ones land, and then we'll decide, okay? Sir Alone, one of my favorite fights, probably my second favorite fight in Dark Souls 2. Man, I think I'm gonna go here as a final boss. I kind of want to put it in B as a final boss, but the fight is so good. It's such a good fight. I think I'll put it in A. I can't put it above Manus. It doesn't feel like a crazy conclusion, but it's definitely good. But the fight itself moves it up for me. I'm putting it here, and then we'll see. Okay, Burnt Ivory King. Okay, this was like the epic conclusion. Like, this is what I was looking for from these 2 bums down here. Okay, Burnt Ivory King. This is really challenging because I like this fight a lot. I'm not gonna do C. I'm not gonna do it like that. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go here just because, first of all, I love the mechanic that you can find things around the map. You can find the other guys to help you. And I think this boss is really cool. I didn't really love the first phase, but I think it's such a, like, this is a really, really cool way to end the game, in my opinion. Even though in my playthrough, I ended it with the wonderful frigid outskirts. This was an awesome way to end the game. I think it was cooler than Sinh and King Allant. Granted, I'd rather fight King Allant than either of the, honestly, I'd rather fight King Allant than any of these three. But as a final boss, I'm gonna go here because it felt awesome and it was a really cool end. I feel like I'm just going back on everything I just explained. I think old King Allant actually might be better, so I'm gonna put it ahead of these two. And Sinh feels a little more fleshed out. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Okay, that looks right to me though. That looks right to me. Okay, what is this? Mergo's wet nurse? Is that what that is? Why is this here? I'm confused. Okay, whatever. Let's roll with it. I honestly don't have a ton to say about this. I feel like C is a pretty good spot. I mean, like, Gehrman is like undeniably the final boss, right? I mean, unless you say Moon Presence, but like, I don't understand why this is here. But I mean, sure, C, like, the boss fight's fine. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It's cool. It's creative. It makes sense as like an end game boss, but in comparison to the rest of these, I don't think I can put it higher than C. Because I mean, by the way, none of these are really bad. I mean, these two are kind of bad, but like, none of them are going to be that bad here. Okay, but let's move on to Gehrman. This is going straight into the S tier. And you know why? This honestly might be my favorite final boss. I mean, not on this list, but like, of the main game's final bosses, this is my favorite. I was so mind blown by the difficulty and the speed of this fight and the beauty of the arena when I first fought him, and also the twist of him deciding to kill you at the end, or try to. Yeah, this fight is a 10 out of 10 in like pretty much every regard. I'm honestly surprised he's not in talks of more people's like top 3, top 5 bosses, because he's a pretty close 3 to me. I think there's a couple more that would inch him out, but he's pretty close. And just being able to parry him and him being able to parry you, it's a super long and dramatic fight. Like, everything about this is just amazing and sums up Bloodborne perfectly. And it just, chef's kiss right here. Moon Presence, I mean, it's like a cool secret ending. This is kind of tough. I don't really know where to put this. It's just like easy, especially after this. Like, I think it being after Gehrman kind of makes it weird. Like, maybe like a C. Like, it's a cool final boss, but I guess I'll go here. I mean, that feels fair. There's just nothing that crazy about it. It's like a cool Easter egg. I feel like I shouldn't even be ranking this, but whatever. I'll go and C for the context of this. Orphan of Kos. Okay, this is really, really tough. I really want to put it in S, but I think I'm gonna go top of A. I mean, yeah, I guess as a final boss, top of A. I think this is, it's an amazing Bloodborne boss. So difficult. I will say, everyone said hardest boss in the series, and when I fought him for the first time, I was like, yeah, there's no way. I think I beat him on my first try, my first time fighting him. Granted, I may have been a bit over leveled, but still, like, wasn't quite as crazy hard as I thought. But man, this fight is just so good. This is one of the most iconic for sure. I feel like A, right above Manus, is a pretty respectable spot here. Okay, what is this? Soul of Cinder? Can they use a more distinct picture? Like, look at this. How can you? I can barely even see what this is. Okay, Soul of Cinder. Oh man, this is gonna be an A. I don't know where. I'll put it there. I think that's a good spot for Soul of Cinder. Honestly, I think this is one of the most slept on bosses in the Dark Souls 3 main game. And like, wrapping up the trilogy with this boss was insane. And we all know the callbacks and everything else. Like, the moveset variety of the Soul of Cinder is ridiculous. But I love this boss too. Aside from it being a great final boss, I love the fight. I think this is a fair spot. I'm looking at it now and I feel really bad putting Gwyn where I did, but I honestly, it's just the fight itself for me. It's the fight itself. It made it lose points. Okay, Sister Friede. I don't know how to rank this as a final boss because the fight itself is definitely S tier, but as like a finale, I mean, it's hard because when there's multiple DLCs, the earlier DLCs aren't going to be like a finale. It's going to be the last DLC that's like the big finale. So, I mean, as a final boss, maybe I'll go here. Like, I mean, it's hard for me to put it any lower just because of how good this fight is. I would put it above Orphan, but I honestly think this fight is better than Orphan, but I like Orphan more. So I'm going to put Orphan ahead of Sister Friede. But I could talk about this fight all day. The 3 phases, the little bait they throw at you when they throw you the Titanite chunk after the second phase. Oh, my heart dropped when I saw her getting back up, man. I cried a little bit. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's move on to Gael. Obviously, instant top of S. I mean, this just, if we're talking a perfect wrap up to the trilogy, Soul of Cinder, of course, for the main game, but Gael just checks every single box. The arena arena's insane. It feels like the dramatic finale that the series deserved, and it genuinely could not have been more perfect. The only thing I could have asked for is more health, but in my first playthrough, I would not have said the same. So I think it's just because I've improved my skills, and now I'm looking back and wish I had more of Gael. But we'll see. Maybe Elden Ring, maybe the DLC. We'll see. But yeah, if anyone even tries to disagree, you're just wrong. Ooh, okay, I forgot. We have both Ishins. Okay, so Emma and Isshin. This is a really good fight. It's not gonna be S. I think I'd go here. I really like both of these, but Isshin is a little bit on the easy side. Obviously, Emma's pretty easy. I do like them as a duo fight though. I think it works pretty well. And obviously it's an awesome ending. Like Sekiro has multiple endings, but I think they're all cool. This is the lesser of the cool in my opinion, but yeah, amazing overall. But this one, I go back and forth between these two. And as a final boss, I think I'll put Gael just because of the, oh man, I don't know though, the callback in this one with the arena and then fighting Genichiro, that's tough. Honestly, if I could put these two equal, I would. I'm gonna leave them both here, but just keep in mind, they're interchangeable in my opinion. Tomorrow I might say Gael, the next day I might say Isshin. Personally, I like the fight of Isshin a little bit more, but they're damn near even for me. I don't think there's much else. It just doesn't get better than that. But Sekiro is also my favorite. That's probably why. But Dark Souls 3, oh man, Dark Souls 3 was my first, so it's like my child, you know? Okay, Radagon and the Elden Beast. So if I could have these separated, that would be wonderful. Unfortunately, they were not. If we could have used Torrent with Elden Beast, it would have been wonderful. Unfortunately, we could not. I know everyone said this a million times, but that does make this way harder to rank because if it was just Radagon, honestly, it might go in S. Actually, it'd probably be A, but I do think the Elden Beast was a really cool way to end the game. Like, I think it was a really sick final boss. I think I'm gonna go like here. It feels really disrespectful putting that in front of Gwyn, so maybe I'll go here. I think that's fair. It's just tough though, because, oh man, Radagon is so good. The Elden Beast fight just sucks. A lot of people were saying that it wasn't as bad. Like, no, it's not fun. It's not a fun boss. But I do think it's a really cool finale. I think the Elden Ring DLC is gonna have one of the coolest final bosses. Honestly, I'm gonna leave this here. I think this is fair. You guys can let me know what you think. I might regret some of these choices while I'm editing this video, but it doesn't matter now. Make sure to subscribe and get your free outro.